No, I definitely understand. All right. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and record this. I have somebody checking the chat, so I'm gonna go ahead and they're gonna read anything that I miss. I have a chat here too on this other computer, so I'm able to see it as it go, but I am recording. Yep, so we're just gonna go ahead and get started. All right, so piggybacking on pretty much what we were basically saying. So we're gonna do the 35 questions on the Florida real estate exam. All right, that is what we're going over today to make sure you guys are prepared. It is a good bit of you that plan on taking your test this week, and it's a good bit that's going to be taking a test in a week or so, or that's just getting started and just all the way confused. So we just want to make sure that you guys are good. And if you have any questions, let us know. But let's go ahead and review this. All right. So first things first that I do want to let you know is that FREC does require fingerprints of all applicants so that they can run a background check. So with the fingerprints, it needs to be done through live scan. All right. And you can find the require ORI number that you must submit with your fingerprints at least 5 days before submitting your application. So if you guys plan on taking a test and have not did your fingerprints, you want to go ahead and do that. All right. It is very important that you do that because your application will be considered incomplete if your fingerprints has not been received by FREC by the time they start reviewing your application. So just be sure to follow the timeline correctly. All right. Um, Next thing I want to go over here. Let's see. All right, guys. Oh my gosh, y'all are cutting up in this chat. Okay, so let's get into it. First things first, we're going to go right into it. So if you are at the point of beginning and you are headed north 90 east, what direction are you headed? So I'm going to read it, give you time, and then give you the answer. All right, so this is a good quiz for you guys. So if you are at the point of beginning, POB, if you see that, and you are headed north 90, what direction are you headed in? All right, the answer is east. This is one that you guys should know. All right, you definitely should know this. A lot of this stuff that we're going to go over today, I am not going to be going in detail of it because at this point you should already reviewed and went through this. For those who are watching this that's not currently with us, I will go ahead and add a video that I've done before that explains some of these in details of the detail of the question, break it down for you. But right now, we are just doing this quiz wise just to make sure everybody understands. All right. Does a blind man qualify to get extra homestead? A, no, just 25,000. B, yes, 50,000. C, yes, 5,000. D, 500. Write your answers in the chat. Write your answers in the chat. All right, fine. The answer is C. Yes, 5,000. What would a sales associate be charged if he took duplicates of listings when he left the brokerage firm and started to work from another company? What would a sales associate be charged if he took duplicates of listings when he left the brokerage firm and started to work for another company? Is it A, larceny, B, commingling, C, breach of contract, D, A, first degree misdemeanor? Now, when I read this question the first time, the answer should have automatically clicked and duplicate is highlighted. So this should be very easy for you guys. Do not get caught up. This right here has to be one that you memorize. Okay, you have to know this. This has to be like a an index card in the back of your head that you just want to know. So it will be breach of contract. Anytime that a sales associate, and I'm up here explaining it, Jasmine, because you just said something and I said I wasn't going to do this, but anytime a sales associate take duplicates of a listing, like they take duplicates, that is considered breach of contract. All right. Breach of contract. Took duplicates, breach of contract. Now, what would a sales associate be charged with if he took the originals of listings when he left the brokerage firm and started to work for another company? So read the question, and I have it highlighted here for you. What would a sales associate be charged with if he took the originals of listings when he left the brokerage firm and started to work for another company? Yep. This is another one you just want to remember. It is going to be larceny. So the difference between the two, Kelly, because that's what I think you're getting kind of confuse that. Duplicates. If they took duplicates, that is breach of contract. But if they took the original ones, the original ones, not a duplicate, that is always going to be larceny. That is something that you guys just need to know. You have to remember. All right. So duplicate is breach of contract. Originals is larceny. All right. Concerning the statute of frauds, what does not apply? A, deed, mortgage, promissory note, purchase and sales contract, option contract, lease agreement for longer than 1 year, listing agreement for longer than 1 year, a buyer representation agreement for a term longer than 1 year must be in writing per the statute of frauds. B, the statute of frauds state that all contracts must be in writing to be enforceable. C, the statute of frauds does not apply to a 3-month listing agreement. D, the statute of frauds does not apply to an option. We're going to go ahead and just go right into the answer. The answer is going to be the statute of frauds that all contract must be in writing to be enforceable. I think for some of the ones who got that wrong, what your hiccup is, the question says which does not. Which does not. We have not highlighted, well, big for you. You're not going to have it big on the test. All right. So you want to go ahead and circle what it is. And one thing that I always tell people, what's the darn question? What is the question asking you? Read the damn question. That's the best way. Like, say, you probably want to say that when you're taking the test. Read the question and see what it is that they're asking, because the other ones may not be wrong, but the reason why it is wrong because it says which does not apply. And that does not apply, that the statute of frauds, that all contracts must be in writing to be enforceable, because one, that's not true. You know, you may have some contracts that maybe longer than a year or something. So the answer is going to be B, because it does not apply. Which of the following is a penalty for a first-time minor violation that is accompanied by a fine? This is going to be another flashcard that you guys just have to know. It is going to be a notice of noncompliance. You have to know this. This is one you want to memorize. All right. A seller tells single agent J that although we are listing the home for $790,000, I can accept $740,000. What should J do? A, tell the buyer to send an offer for $740,000. B, say we need at least $740,000 in the MLS. Do not accept the $790,000 offer, or do not disclose the $740,000 offer. Okay, so I'm trying to read out the answer questions just to give you guys time to answer. Good. You're fast. You're so fast here. All right, so do not disclose the 740. So I can accept 740. What should I do? So you guys remember, you have your own fiduciary duties. I say fiduciary. I don't know why, but fiduciary duties that you have with your client. So when you have that, you need to make sure you do not disclose things that they tell you. So even though they're telling you that, that's something that you know when it comes to negotiating and things like that, or what your client would accept, but you do not disclose that. So you cannot disclose that. You cannot say we're just accept 790 offer. You cannot say, let me go ahead and put, at least if you put this in the MLS. You cannot tell a buyer to send an offer for 740. You cannot tell the agent to send an offer for 7 whatever. You cannot disclose that. That's something for you to know. The goal is for you to get that 790 for them. All right. So do not disclose. The answer is D. Very good, guys. Which of the following clause or covenants in a deed states that the guarantor owns the property and has the right to convey it? The guarantor owns the property and have the right to convey it. Give you guys a second. Yep, I got you right here. I didn't even read the question, read the answers. All right, so we got A, covenant of season, B, covenant of against encumbrance. We have C, we have D. What is it, guys? The answer is always going to be covenant of season. That's something that's a flashcard as well that you just want to remember. So if the guarantor owns the property, has the right to convey, then that is going to be covenant of season. All right, what are the possible consequences if a broker neglect, oh gosh, guys, I can't talk today, negligently or fraudulently furnishes inaccurate and or outdated rental information to a prospective tenant and is compensated for the information? Mm-hmm. Good job, guys. Good job. Good job. The answer is A. The broker could be convicted of a misdemeanor of first degree. So you guys want to remember that too. If you negligent about things and you're putting fraudulent information that's not accurate and it's outdated when it comes to the rental information, the broker could be convicted of a misdemeanor in first degree. All right. Conventional amortization has Conventional amortization. How do interest and principal payments reflect in your payments? This is big on the test. I still get people that says, "Oh my gosh, I am so glad this is up here because this is one that you guys want to know." So conventional amortization. How do interest and principal payments reflect in your payment? A, reduce the monthly mortgage payment. B, increase the interest principal each month. C, the portion used to pay interest decreases over time while the portion used to pay principal increases. Or D, the portion used to pay interest increases over time while the portion used to pay principal decreases. The answer is going to be C. The answer is going to be C. Do you guys understand how it's C? Okay, good, because I was going to explain it. So the portion used, just know the portion used to pay interest decreases over time. All right, so you know that the interest decreases. However, while that portion used to pay the principal increases. So while the portion used to pay the principal increases, while the portion you used to pay the interest decreases. All right, so interest decrease, pay principal increase. Let me go back. All right, guys. So, want to say if you need support, need help with anything, this is our new email address. You want to go ahead and send it here. So, info@rawlsre.com. The onboarding team will walk you through the whole process seamlessly. So, if you're trying to figure out where am I going from here, what is the best firm, what are the options? I need coaching. I need a mentor. I have questions on the test. I failed a few times, and this is my first time coming across us. And you want to know what is it that I need to pass? You need a quiz, you need something, whatever it is, we are here to assist you. This is our information. Feel free to contact us. We'll go ahead and walk you through it to make sure your process is seamlessly. Now, if you need a cram test, we do have the cram test on sale for $39 today for the holiday. You get 60 questions, must know math questions, high passing rate. So if you guys want to do that, just go ahead and email info@rawlsre.com and we'll be able to do that. All right, boom, boom, boom. Let's go into round two. So Joe and Ann are a married couple. Ann owned the home on 75 Thompson Street before marrying Joe. Okay, which applies to Ann? You like when I read the answers. Okay, I will read the answers. So, Joe and Ann are married. That is the important part that you guys want to pull from this, right? That they are married. Now, Ann owned the home on 75 Thompson Street before. So, prior to marrying Joe, Ann was the homeowner, which applies to Ann. So, is Ann tenancy by severity, tenancy by entirety, tenancy in common, or common law? The answer is going to be tenant by severity. The thing is, when you see entirety, entirety is what you will see when somebody is married. I look at tenancy by severity like you would think that it's several people, but I look at it as it's just me. Like it ain't several people, it's just me. So that is why it will be tenancy by severity. It is tenancy in common. If it was tenancy in common, then they all would have unequal ownership to it. Now, when we get into joint tenancy means everybody have the same equal. Everybody have the same portion. So everybody may have 50% versus tenancy in common. That's a different situation. Some people, like I did see one person say, I was going to do D until I read the question. Common law is not that. Some people just think it's just common law because we're married. I know in certain states, when you are married, they do go by that in regards to like if you pass away, they will go by you pass away. Like there's a situation to where you pass away and you have a child with Bob, but you had a child with John, and you and Bob is married. when it's time for them to do whatever they need to the house, whoever you're married to and that child is who they're going to give it to in some certain states. So this is why this is kind of good to kind of know and have an idea of what it is. So when I see entirety, just know entirety is going to be you and your spouse. All right, when you see Tennessee by its common, just know that is unequal. Everybody have different rights. But the main thing here, it said that they were married, so they wanted you to pick B. But then it said and own the home prior to. So because it was prior to, what applies to and? It would be Tennessee by severity. All right. How to figure out the price of the subject. Go ahead and read that. Yep, and Jasper, so to go back to your question for the previous one, not to distract anyone, but when you're looking at the when you're looking at it, when it's just basically saying that when you see that the property is owned by one person, so she had it prior to, so that's why. All right, so how to figure out the price for a subject property. So A, always subtract or add the subject. B, subtract or add from the comps. C, add the superior and subtract the comp. Or D, subtract or add from the superior one. I gave you guys enough time to answer this. It's subtract or add from the comp. So you are not going to take the subject and you're not going to add or subtract from the subject. You're never going to touch the subject. When you're trying to figure out the price, you are either going to subtract or add from the comp. All right. You would know which method to use. Do not get shooken up on always using the subject because that is not it. Okay. But you guys did really, really good with that. So the answer for that is going to be B. So which of the following is the type of method of surveyor would use to describe a property in a subdivision? This right here is another flashcard question. Yep. Good, good, good. The answers are coming through and I ain't even have to read it. Good. So this is a flashcard question that you guys just definitely want to know. So which of the following is a type of method of surveyor? So when you see that, you would know that that is going to be lot and block method. All right. If it's talking about beginning to end, then that's when it would be meet and bounds. But with this, when they're saying the surveyor would use to describe a property in a subdivision, that is going to be lot and block. So please make sure that is a flashcard that you have that you just know. All right, what is the status of a sales associate's license if they do not complete the required 45-hour post-license course before the first expiration of their license? What is the status of a sales associate if they do not complete the required 45-hour post-license course before the first expiration of their license? This right here is another flashcard, guys, that you guys just need to know. It is going to be null and void. There's no other way to put this. You have to know this. All right. So what is the status of a sales associate if they do not complete the required 45-hour post license course before the first expiration of their license? It is going to be null and void. Okay, which of the following statements is true about leverage? Give you guys 10 seconds. All right, so this right here is also needs to be a flashcard for you as well. So leverage is the use of borrowed funds to purchase asset or finance an investment. All right, so leverage can only be positive. Leverage is the same. Leverage is when an investor used the equity to purchase asset. No, leverage is other people money. All right, leverage is the use to borrow money to purchase asset. So if you see it that way or you see other people money, just know that is leverage. All right, it does not matter that it's positive or that it's the same as equity. None of that matters. It is that is borrowed money, which means it's other people money to purchase asset or finance an investment project. All right, Sky purchased a lamp from Amazon, but never took it out the box. What is the lamp considered? So A, personal property, B, an extension, C, appurtenance, or D, fixture. So Sky purchased a lamp from the Amazon, purchased a lamp from Amazon, but never took it out the box. All right, so this basically tell you that she never took it out of the box, meaning that it's not nailed, screwed, or glued. So remember, when you guys are talking about what is considered a fixture, that is if it's nailed, screwed, or glued. If it's any of those, then it runs with the house. Approvedness means runs with the house. That means that it is a fixture. It's nailed, screwed, or glued. Annexation is when you're trying to figure out the method of it. But when we're talking about why it's personal property, because it's hers. That's just like if you're saying it's her bra, is that coming with the home? No, it's not coming in the home. That's in her drawer. It's not attached to anything. It's not nailed, screwed, or glued. So that is why. So she did not take it out the box. So because she didn't take it out the box, now if she took the lamp and she just placed the lamp on a table and it's in the plug, that's something different. But if she took the lamp, hung the lamp, is now nail screwed or glued, that would be different. But because it's just a regular lamp, because that's why I said that. That is exactly why I said that, Jason, because I know that somebody's going to get hooked up and say, okay, well, she took it out the box. So then no, she took it out the box. And if it's the type of lamp that she placed on a table, it's still personal property because it's not nailed, screwed, or glued. But if it was a lamp, we don't know the type of lamp, and don't get ahead of yourself and go into so much detail trying to figure that out. If the lamp was a lamp that she needed to go ahead and hang, then of course that is going to stay with the house. But what we know is what all you need to know. Do not read into it. She purchased a lamp from Amazon. She never took it out the box. So we know that is personal property. It is hers. She could take it, put it in her car, take it, gift it to somewhere. It is hers. All right. Don't get too wrapped up in these questions, guys, and get confused. All right. So, what must a real estate sales associate do upon receiving earnest money deposit? A, immediately but no longer than the end of the next business day following receipt. Saturday, Sunday, and legal holiday are not considered business days. B, 3 business days. C, 5 banking days. D, deposit the funds with the Florida Real Estate Commission. So the question is, what must a real estate sales associate do upon receiving earnest money? So we know earnest money is banking. What is it? Banking business days. All right, you want to go ahead and do that anytime you see earnest money. Banking business days. All right. So the thing is with this question, it says, what must a real estate associate do receiving earnest money? So immediately, but no longer than the end of the business day, because you know earnest is business banking. So you know that it's business and banking. The only reason why I'm saying that, because you might have some people that have been licensed in North Carolina or certain states where you have a due diligence period. And when it comes to the due diligence period, that money is due immediately and is go by calendar days. In this case, earnest money goes by banking or business days. But the question is, when upon receiving, when must they deposit? So immediately, but no later than the end of the next business day following the receipt. Saturday, Sunday, and legal holidays are not considered business day. Why? And how do you know that's true? Because you know it has to be a business or a banking day. All right, so the answer is going to be A. When must a prospective buyer get property tax information? A, 15 days before closing. B, before an offer. C, once the offer is accepted. D, at closing. When must the prospective buyer get the property tax information? 15 days before closing. They should get it 15 days before closing. You don't want them to get it at the closing table. You want to at least make sure that they get it within 15 days before closing. All right. How is the binder deposit noted on the closing disclosure? Is it A, credit to the seller only, B, credit to the buyer only, C, deposit debit to the seller, credit to the buyer, or D, debit to the buyer, credit to the seller? Good. It is going to be credit to the buyer only. This is something that is another flashcard you just have to know. That's why I'm not going to give you guys a lot of time to figure this out, because you just need to know that anytime you're talking about a binder deposit, it is noted in the closing disclosure as credit to the buyer only. This is the situation to where I like to always say, when it comes to a buyer deposit, I always think of Chris Brown. Why? Because the C in Chris and the B in Brown. So credit the buyer only. Okay, so anytime you have a binder deposit, how is it going to be noted? It's going to be noted Chris Brown. Chris Brown has a binder because it's going to be credit to the buyer only. All right, credit to the buyer only is the answer for that. All right, dun dun dun. We got math questions, guys. We're going to go over this math questions. One thing I'm going to do, I'm going to stop this video to answer a couple of your questions that you guys may have, just to make sure that you guys are good over there with everything that we just did before we go ahead and move over to these math questions. So I will go ahead and stop this and we'll come back and do the math. Stay right there. Nope, don't get ahead of yourself. Don't get ahead of yourself. We will go ahead and answer that. You'll be just fine.